Yeah, so I kind of have a vision board. It's like a mental vision board. Some people have a physical vision board and those things. It's really just a set of YouTube videos that I just watch over and over and over again. And one of the things that I believe in is when you sit down, look at how your life would be if you achieved all of your goals right now, right? How much money would you have inside the bank account? How much money would you have inside investing? What would you be driving? Where would you live? How would the inside of your house look? Go in detail on all aspects of that life, right? And really like even follow the stuff. Like a lot of the things that I look at on Instagram and those things is based off of my vision board, right? And anyone who's going to go ahead and tease you for looking at those things and saying, oh, you can't afford those things, put a good little X beside their name. They don't need to be part of your life right now, right? We're all about growth. But what that does is that it kind of inspires you of and reminds you of where is it that you would like to be, right? Now, what do you do with that? Do you go ahead, sit and pine and constantly beat down yourself and say, oh, I don't reach there yet? No, what you can do is say, okay, I am not at, I'm not at the Prada and the Gucci level yet, but I am at the Ralph Lauren and the Calvin Klein level, right? So if you're at that level, by that level, nothing is wrong with that. Nobody's going to go ahead and cry you down and say, ha ha, you're not at the Gucci. Oh, you need to be at the Gucci level with me. Anyone who goes ahead and does that, put a little X beside the name, they don't need to be in your life. It's very easy to weed out those people, right? So another thing, right, I was actually watching, and I actually do it, right, is like, for instance, even when you look inside your home, right, and you're looking around and you're like, oh, my home look kind of blank and those type of things. When you go to the store, think of your vision board. Think of how your dream home, and think of some of the elements that you would have in it. And not everything inside your dream home is going to be humongously expensive. Some of the things might just be real small, you know? Like for instance, you may, instead of having a plastic dish holder, you want a stainless steel one. I can guarantee you, when you pick up that stainless steel one, right, and go put that in your kitchen, every time you see it, you're going to get inspired. You're going to remember, it's instantly going to bring you back to your vision board. And that's what I'm saying, is your vision, your overall vision is not for something for you to just think up, put down in a jar, and then essentially be grumpy and miserable for the entire time, hoping that one day you'll reach it, you know. Experience little joys, and as I say, walk before you run, you know. So what we're going to talk about today is quality over quantity, right? Now, a lot of people li- like the whole, why is the screen not moving? Move screen. There we go. All right. So I believe that we're living essentially in an age of materialism, right? Especially because of the two things I love to talk about the most, Facebook and Instagram, right? Everybody on there is all about that floss life, right? It's all about that floss life, you know, going ahead. Oh, so and so gave his wife a Rolex for her birthday. Oh, so and so gave his wife a Gucci bag for Valentine's Day, and all those things, right? That's all you're seeing on social media. And so it's not hard, right? And it's only human for when you see those things, you kind of look at yourself and say, oh, I can't afford a Gucci bag, or oh, I can't afford this. But Remember what I talked about last week? There's a lot of backstory that you don't know about. That person could have maxed out his credit card to go ahead and purchase that Gucci bag. That person could have went ahead and took out a loan to go ahead and purchase that Rolex. That's not the life that we're trying to build here, right? We're trying to keep debt at a minimum, and especially not use debt to floss, right? So I believe we're in an age of materialism, right? We've essentially become obsessed with having material things, going around and just seeing stuff laid all over the place. Half of the time they don't even make sense. Just stuff all over the place. And that's what we do. So how do you reduce that? First off, chances are you have a whole bunch of crap because you focused on the quantity, right? You hear it all the time. Okay, a perfect example. You go inside the grocery store, right? And somebody pulls up in a cart next to you. And that cart is filled to the brim with food. You have half of what they have. Both of you guys' bills came up to the same, right? Now, you might say, oh, look at how much that person got compared to me. Well, don't look at how much they got, look at what they got, right? You went ahead and you purchased fruits, vegetables, lean meat, right? You purchased a whole bunch of healthy stuff, right? You purchased spices and those things that to cook from scratch. That person loaded up on ramen, snacks, alcohol, the most sugary juice alive, sodas, and all that. So yes, that person might have come out with a whole lot more, but if you compare the quality of what you have compared to what they have, you come out much better, right? Quality over quantity almost all the time. You're going to hear me ring it in your ears on this one, right? So as I said, one of these sayings, this is a good one. Remember when I talked about stupid tax? Well, and I said that I got it from a judge. It was like on a judge show. Well, the same judge came up with this next one, and I think it's a pretty good one, right? And it said, if you look around your house and see all your money, then that's a bad thing, right? Because if you're looking around your house and you're seeing all of your money, guess where your money isn't? It's not in a bank account, right? Now, what do you even have inside your house these days for it to fill up, right? How many people are buying painting? How many people are collecting watches? We're not talking about Timex, right? We're not talking about those. We're talking about watches, right? How many people are collecting antique things? They're not doing that, right? They're going ahead, right? Just today I was thinking about it. They're going ahead buying what today's latest, greatest, biggest TV, right? Spending massive amount of money on this TV. Now, look at how TVs have progressed in the past 10 years, right? You went ahead and dropped $4,000 or $5,000 on a TV that in about 2 years, that TV, you're going to walk inside Best Buy, walk inside Quartz, walk inside any of these electronics places and see that same TV on sale for $599. All right? So no, right? So that doesn't make much sense, right? When you look around your house, how many things inside your house actually have value and have appreciating value? Chances are it's gonna be not much, right? So if you're looking around your house and you're seeing all of your money, then that's a bad thing. It's not inside an account and it's not inside an investment. The next thing, why did you buy all of those things? Why did you go to the store and buy that 60-inch curved 4K Samsung 50 million, right? To mount on the wall? Is it really bringing you that much joy? Or is it just so that when people come over, they'll say, wow, that's a nice TV? If that's the point, then you shouldn't have bought it. That was a waste of money, right? That's not even 6-minute talk, right? And you've just went ahead and spent money on something that's going to depreciate real quick. Remember when we spoke about depreciating assets? This one depreciates really quickly with absolutely almost no return. And you could have went ahead and used that same money, put half of it inside an investment, use the other half and buy a regular TV, and you'll come out much better. So don't buy for bragging rights. All right. I shouldn't have to say this, but yeah, don't buy just for bragging rights. Now, let's go into the arguments of quality versus quantity, right? You guys know where I stand on this, but I do hear arguments on both sides, right? So let's first talk about what are the arguments against quality. They say quality, it costs too much to buy quality, right? Quality does tend to cost more because it usually costs more to make. Now, some people will go into the whole nitty-gritty of how much Nike pays to go ahead and with the sweatshops and all those things. But in the end, if you own a pair of Nikes, you can go ahead and wear those pair of Nikes for almost 10 years, right? Those could be your go-to shoes. Now you go ahead and buy some bikies, right? You're lucky if it lasts you for the end of the month, right? So let's not get into the whole nitty-gritty of how much they actually pay to make the product, right? But what I'm saying is quality products usually cost a bit more, but we're going to go into deeper, but that's the argument that they make. They also say, I could get something that looks just as good with half the price. Yes, you could, right? I see tons of people out there making shirts and pants out of a fake Gucci material, right? It doesn't mean that that is high quality, right? It just means that somebody got a material that looks just as nice or looks close and decide to make a purse out of it and sell it, right? In 2 weeks or six weeks, I'll give you 6 weeks if you don't use it that much. That purse gonna fall apart, right? So that's the other argument that they use. No, people are just buying it so they can show they have money. I hear that one quite a bit. You do have, remember where I said don't buy things just for bragging rights? You do have people who buy things for bragging rights, right? And they tend to be the ones that are also flashy. So I can kind of understand their point where they're saying, oh, people just buy just to show they have money. But really, if you think about it, they're not buying the actual real good quality stuff. For instance, many brands, their highest quality things, you can't even see the name of the brand, right? If they do a logo, the logo is like the smallest thing on earth. Somebody who's looking to brag does not want that. Someone who's looking to brag wants Tommy lying down their leg or Polo lying down their leg. They want the Polo symbol to be the size of their entire shirt, right? That is what they want, right? So in essence, you might think that they're buying top-notch quality, but chances are they probably not. All right. So those are the three most common things I hear regarding why people don't run down quality. Now, we have to go on both sides of the coin. So let us now look at the fight against quantity. One, it lasts longer. I don't think anybody is going to go ahead and dispute that, right? Nobody's going to dispute that. The other one, it saves money in the long term. Now, let us use the cell phones, for example. Now, if you went ahead and went inside a store and saw the Google Pixel, the Samsung Galaxy S, and the iPhone, and then you saw a blue, right? Those three phones that I talked about first would be around 1,000 US. The blue, about 200 US, right? It looks just as pretty, right? You pick that up. After about 6 months, you're going to end up having to buy another one. And if you're averaging about 2 of them, the person who bought the Samsung, the Google, and the iPhone, they can keep that phone for about 3 or 4 years. How many blues are you going to run through in 3 or 4 years, right? So it can save you money in the long term. Feels better and build confidence. Have you ever worn like a really good quality shirt? I mean, when you put that on, you feel like $1 million. Like instantly, you feel the difference between the rest of the shirts and that shirt, right? I used to call them, well, I still do. I call them my power shirts, right? Like if you have like an important meeting and you put on that shirt, you're ready to face the day. You realize you're walking straighter, you're talking a lot more assertive. You feel amazing. So yes, quality does help with confidence. Now, as you can tell, I'm on the side that quality always wins, right? And most of the time, when you're buying quality, they tend to have some similar traits, right? One, they tend not to follow the fast fashion, right? Like for instance, when you look at a Burberry coat, the Burberry coat is plain. It has always been plain. It will continue to be plain. But when somebody rocks a Burberry coat, there's no denying that that's a Burberry coat. And nobody's saying, oh, that's not in style. No, right? And that person has been rocking that Burberry coat for about 10 years. And still every time they wear it, they're getting compliments, right? So they tend not to be very flashy, right? We're not talking about the runways because they're usually trying to influence fast fashion. We're talking about their staple pieces, tend to not go with the trends. The other thing, they tend to last years, not months, right? Just about everybody have some piece or something inside their house, inside their closet that they splurged on and bought a quality item. And they can say, oh, I've had that for about 10 years. I've had that for about 12 years. And it's still going strong, right? I recently replaced a shirt that I bought about a decade ago. No dry clean, just regular washing machine, put out to dry. And I've been wearing that shirt on a regular basis for 10 years. And it's just now I had to replace it because some of the threads started to get frayed. What? Can't beat that, right? Tend to maintain a sense of exclusivity, right? It was easier to type it than to say, right? Of course, if you go ahead and you're rocking a pair of red bottoms, this is where it goes with the confidence and it moves right into the next line, right? That feeling of you're like part of this special club and only other people who know about that brand would even know what you're wearing makes you feel by boost up confidence. You don't need to brag. I'm not saying go ahead and walk inside a place and say, oh, look at me, and every 2 seconds holding up the bottom of your shoes. No, you don't need to do that. But just know the people who knows will take notice, right? And you knowing that instantly straightens your back, gives you a good back straight. Now, do you need to break the bank? Do you need to break the bank in order to get these quality items? I say no, right? Here's the thing. When you do go ahead and buy quality, don't just treat it any old type of way. Maintain it, right? That way you grow it over time. Like for instance, I'm going to use the example of shirts, right? You go ahead and buy a very nice Ralph Lauren shirt. You're not going to go ahead and wear that out to the mechanic shop and all those things. You're not just going to throw it down anyway. You're going to carry it. That way, when you go ahead and buy the next shirt, it's not a replacing, right? You're adding. If you want to move forward, you cannot be in a cycle of replacing, only adding, right? So buy it and maintain it. Other thing, determine its purpose and why you need it, right? Just don't go splurging on anything and say, oh, well, it's quality. What? No. Does it fit in your vision? Remember when we first started and I said vision board? Does it fit in your vision? Does it, yes, last week I spoke about knowing who you are. Does it fit with who you are, right? Determine its purpose and why you need it. And if you determine those things and you still feel that it's something that you need, then save for it. Go ahead, get it, maintain it. You'll be happy with it. Try to avoid taking loans for it, okay? It's not going to go away, right? Gucci is not going to shut down. Louis Vuitton is not going to shut down. Cartier is not going to shut down, right? You do not need it right now. If you need to take a loan in order to get it, you don't reach that level yet. Know your lane, right? Know your lane. You don't reach that level yet. So if you're going to go ahead and have to take a loan for it, then don't get it yet, right? So that's why I say you don't need to break the bank. Now, how do you get it, right? You know, it has to come back to money, right? It has to come back to money. You have to invest wisely, right? I say money is a robot, right? Really, it said money is a slave, but considering the audience, I decided not to go with that one. Money is a robot. Money doesn't sleep, money doesn't need holidays, money doesn't need to eat, money doesn't get sick, right? Money is a robot and it's there to make you more money, right? So if you're saving and you're putting it inside a bank account the whole time, what you're doing is you're forcing that money to go to sleep. Money doesn't want to go to sleep. Money wants to work. It's a robot, right? Put that money to work, right? Save. If you go ahead and say, I want to purchase a nice watch, right? That watch is going to run, a good watch these days, you're looking at anywhere between 1,000 up, right? But let's start off with a beginner one, right? You say, I want a nice watch, I want to save up 1,000 US. You say, okay, how long am I going to save for it? I'm going to save a year for it. You divide that into 12 equal parts, right? Is it 12? Yeah, 12, right? You're going to divide it by 12. And that is how much you're going to put aside for that watch each month, right? Now, where are you going to put it? You are going to purchase some very low risk, low beta. We spoke about beta, right? This one, you want that beta like right at 1, right? As close to 1 as possible. And you want it to pay high dividends, right? And you are going to go ahead and put those monthly savings towards that investment, right? Each month, You go ahead, purchase more shares, purchase more shares, right? You're going to go ahead, purchase more shares, purchase more shares. At the end of the 12 months, you will have enough for your watch. Here's the kicker. You also have gotten equity growth, even though it's safe, chances are it will have some equity growth. You've gotten equity growth off of it, and you've gotten dividends off of it. So instead of it reaching 1,000, you might possibly have about 1,200 in there, right? Now, you have two choices. You have two choices. If it's a small amount, just sell the shares and go buy your watch, right? If it's a large amount, let us say it was a $14,000 watch, right? Yes, that's actually mid-range. Like most of the Rolex, they're about 16,000, 18,000, right? So what do? You could actually go to a bank and say, look, I want to borrow 14,000. And what I will do is I will use my investments as security, right? You put those shares up as security, it's not an unsecured loan. So you'll actually end up getting a loan like peanuts, right? Now, earlier you heard me say, don't take out loans to get it. But as I said, when the amount is up there, right? And we're talking about 14,000, 15,000 going up, you are collecting some pretty good dividends on this thing, right? And it's a good chance that if you leave it in there, the dividends alone could end up paying the bank for the loan to buy the watch, where it's essentially paying for itself. So if you realize you're in that situation, yes, use it as leverage, right? Use it as leverage. But what I'm saying is do not take out an unsecured loan to go buy these things, right? That's what I should have put unsecured, right? So those are ways that you can essentially go ahead and save. I actually said that I'm actually thinking of trying to figure out how to work that to buy the next car, right? Going ahead, saving for it, and then at the end of the time, either just buy the car or leverage the investment to get a better rate than even the car rate, right? So we'll see how that one works. That's years to come. But you can do that, right? So the next, so in summary, I actually did it right on time. All right. So in summary, quality in most cases beats quantity, right? And your quality needs to be in line with your vision. Tonight, sit down and think in detail, what is your vision? If you were to achieve all your goals right now, what would your life look like, right? And then, and for each purchase, determine what is the purpose of this purchase, right? You at this point, you want to keep as much money as you can, and just buying frivolous things is not keeping money. That's just spending money to spend money, and that's not helping you in the end. So it needs to have a purpose, right? Ensure that it brings value, right? So you're buying a painting, if the painting is going to appreciate in value, if you're buying a watch, is it going to be one of those like a Rolex or one of those things that's going to appreciate in value? Is it going to give you lasting joy, right? That's actually part of the value, not just the monetary thing. But is it going to give you lasting joy? I purposely put lasting because there are many things that give you joy in that moment. And then afterwards, you're filled with nothing but regret, right? It needs to be something that when you look at it, a smile will come to your face. And if you look at it in 2 weeks' time, 2 months, 2 years, you do not regret that purchase. That's a good purchase, right? Do not take out, there we go, I used the proper one on this one. Do not take out unsecured loans or do hire purchase to purchase these items. Disclaimer, I am in a hire purchase and I regret it every moment. Do not do it. Save in investments, put that money to work while you're saving for what you want, and buy what you want using your own leverage or with cash, right? The final thing, sleep on it. You looked at it and you said, "Oh, this looks real nice." Don't go to the store. Don't do impulsive buys. Sleep on it, right? Think of it inside your home. Think of yourself wearing it. Do you love it? Right? Think of it even next week. Do you still love it? But if you really love it after all that time, then you can look about how to go ahead and get it, right? So, guys, I hope that with this, you will have a slightly different view when it comes on to purchasing items, right? And knowing that it's not all about how much stuff you can actually fill in your closet or in your house, but it's the quality of the stuff. This goes for your groceries, this goes for your clothes, this goes for your home decor. It is a quality that is essentially going to show through you, right? Because as you improve the quality of the items that you surround yourself with, the quality of yourself will also get lifted as well. All right. So as usual, guys, this video is going to be out there on YouTube. I'm probably this Sunday. I'm going to upload it on YouTube. If you guys have any questions or comments, you guys can reach out to me via WhatsApp or you can email me at my Gmail. Make sure to like the videos, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next week. All right. Bye, guys.